Hello, I'm Lynn Beasley. I'm the Chief Scientist of Western Australia, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to this DVD about women in science. You're going to hear on this DVD about 3 women who have very different science careers, but they're all equally exciting.
My school teachers had a significant influence on me being a scientist today. They taught me that science was fun and exciting.
I first became interested in science at a pretty young age. My father was a great influence. He was a really keen scuba diver, and he had a scuba tank on our backs when we were young kids. And I developed a real interest in the marine environment.
From the time I was a little girl, I was interested in physics and maths. I don't know why, I think I was just fascinated by them. When I was very young, I met a person who was into astronomy, and he gave me this book on stars, and I was fascinated by this concept of light years and how far away these stars were.
I've always wanted to help people, but I knew I didn't want to become a medical doctor. And instead I chose to do science in the form of biotechnology degree at Murdoch University. And I followed this with an honours year in molecular biology. And it was after this year that I knew for sure that I wanted to do something in medical research as my further career. Fortunately for me, after my honours year, a chance connection meant that I got to do work experience with Professor Nigel Laing at the Australian Neuromuscular Research Institute. And this work experience led on to me being a research assistant, and I finally then had a full-time job as a scientist.
After university, I went into consulting, environmental consulting. I had an opportunity to move to the Middle East and participate in a very large environmental project for the United Nations, and that was assessing the amount of environmental damages that were caused in the first Gulf War when Iraq invaded Kuwait. And that was looking at the groundwater contamination, the surface contamination, oil pollution on the shoreline, and also the impacts to the marine environment.
And another piece of commercial technology transfer we did was graffiti detection in trains and buses. And we came up with this method by which you could put a small microphone in the window, and depending on the signal that was being detected, so if somebody does a graffiti, it produces a different signal to what happens normally in a bus. And we used that to come up with a graffiti detection system, and that's being trialed on the buses and the trains in Perth now.
I would absolutely encourage someone who's thinking about a career in science. It certainly provided a challenging career for me. I've managed to travel all around the world doing some interesting projects which I believe are very meaningful.
The technology that we presently have, with the knowledge that currently exists, means that there are some significant opportunities to make some real breakthroughs in medical research, in disease prevention and disease cure. We're living in really exciting times, and there is so much for us to discover.
As a scientist, you'll be in demand, you'll see the world, and you'll make a difference to the planet with a fantastic career.